All right, this way I can kind of go over it with ease, and if anyone has an issue, we can talk about it real quick, get it out of the way. I just want to really quickly brush over on the developer update. I know everyone's giving their opinions on it. My overall thought on it, since I'm sure everyone's read it from everyone else at the moment, is that they're pretty good. I mean, the Blood Web improvements, which means we can actually do the automatic purchase, is going to make it easy, and they have it more as a click to buy. So click to buy means if I want to go, like we have all the perks here, boom, 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 very quick, very rapid. Visual terror radius, this is really good for the hearing impaired, and in general, I think it's just good quality of life. This right here is for, I believe, color blindness, so that way people can still see when the killer's getting close. This is also solid. Auto Haven Wreckers map updates are coming in with the Blood Lodge and Gas Heaven. Both of these Auto Haven Wrecker maps can be pretty RNG, but Blood Lodge is known for being notoriously RNG because its middle section can either be basically hell because it can spawn just numerous tons of pallets or nothing at all. So survivors either get screwed or the killer gets screwed. And even worse so for like stealth killers, it's an open map. This is the same thing with the Knight's new map. Any map that's like really open and just pallet ridden, good luck being a stealth killer. Most stealth killers are basic attacks, so they get punished super hard there. Gas Heaven, they're talking mostly here about the ones, like the two sides here, they have like the single tile, well, not single tile, but they have like the chunk of cars that just blocks off the map. This can be really difficult and provide kind of awkward scenarios and where you basically have to give up gens just based on the gen placement. So the far corner gen is normally given up a lot of the time because, well, guess what? Killers can't really spend the time going around that whole area. So it ends up becoming a little awkward of a map to play on. So these things are probably two things that are going to be nerfed, or not nerfed, but changed in the upcoming map reworks. Healing is getting gutted. To a certain point, healing is going to take longer by itself. So healing another teammate will take 24 seconds instead of 16. I don't think this was really needed. The issue with healing has always been medkits have been incredibly strong, and now that they're cheaper than ever before, it means you basically have medkits whenever you want as a survivor. If you play survivor a lot, you should basically always be able to take a medkit with you if you want, right? You're spending your points, grabbing the medkits as you go, which means you get a really quick heal. And this is a big thing for killers, right? If you need to leave a chase, the survivor not being able to heal themselves is very important because it means it takes two survivors off of a gen for a period of time. This slows the game down by itself in a more natural way. So I agree with that. I don't think healing needs to take 24 seconds. I think that's a little long, but we'll see how that plays out. They rebalance medkits completely, which is going to be basically all around altruistic healing. This means healing your teammates quicker. I agree with this. This is definitely a hard kick to healing. I didn't necessarily mind medkits in general, but they are very strong. Medkits are the strongest item you can bring into a game. Stronger than a toolbox, stronger than a key, flashlight, pretty much anything. This has always been the strongest item. It can be game changing for a lot of killers, especially if you're just like an average killer. They fixed up the add-ons for it. Gearhead got changed. I think it's still going to be useless, so I don't think Gearhead's going to get too much love. Overzealous actually got a nice little change, where now if you bless a totem, it can also trigger its bonus, and the bonus got bumped. I don't like bumping and having gen perks in the game. I think gen perks are a very scary area to have in the game. It's very easy for gen perks to overwhelm and become very strong very quickly. So for example, Overzealous, two people set up boons, right? Now they have together overall 20% like gen efficiency. This can get pretty. This is always dangerous territory. I always say don't play with healing speeds and don't play with gen speeds. So I'm a little worried whenever we start seeing more gen perks. There was a reason we increased the time, or Dead by Daylight increased the time from 80 seconds to 90 seconds, which again, most of us didn't even agree with. I don't think we need to do that either. Scourge Hook, Pain Resonance, gutted completely. This was completely out of nowhere. Didn't need to be done. This was probably done because your Blight and your Nurses, or killers who can have that quick exchange of hooks, can immediately like make Pain Resonance a monstrous thing to go against. But for the average killer, it's just a lazy man's regression and feels really good. The fact that this perk is only going to have 4 tokens and it only works on the first hook of each survivor means that you can only now get a max of 60% regression with this perk. If this goes live, I expect Scourge Pain Resonance to be dead on release. It will not be ran. It will not be good. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone to run because you can get more value off of Pop Goes the Weasel, New Brine, New Overcharge. Oppression would probably still even be better. This would probably become one of the worst perks in terms of regression. But if this does go live, I would recommend running Gift of Pain for the actual slowdown itself. Dead Hard. Dead Hard's fun. Dead Hard didn't need to be nerfed. So this is like one of those hot takes. I don't think Dead Hard needed to be touched. I think it was fine. It wasn't really that bad. There was definitely the joke of just wait it out. But honestly, if a survivor out in the open managed to land a Dead Hard, like out in the open, good job. It's very rare that that's going to happen unless you swing first every time. There was a fun mind game with Dead Hard where it's like, are you gonna, last time I waited, so the survivor this time might wait to use their Dead Hard, but this time I smack him right away. The Dead Hard here, I get it. You want to basically remove it from being in every game, so I think this will do it. It's only going to activate now after you successfully unhook a survivor, much like Deliverance, and then you'll have the ability to do it. It's still an exhaustion perk, so after you use it, you do have exhaustion for the 40 seconds. But I'm not sure how that's going to work overall. I wouldn't mind them getting rid of the exhausted status effect. Well, I would. Have the exhausted... you have to. Yeah, I was going to say. But if you save someone else, you could always remove it. That'd be kind of a cool little way. That way, if you're just kind of the saver, like just going around and saving everybody, you could use Dead Hard more. But I don't know. I think this will be fine. I think they're really just trying to get Dead Hard to not be ran a majority of games. So this feels like a forced hand by behavior in order to basically smack Dead Hard users. By the way, in terms of strength, Sprint Burst has and always will be better than Dead Hard for almost every scenario. So the reason why Dead Hard is often used by most players is because they like the chase, right? When you smack someone with Dead Hard, you're still engaging that chase with them most of the time, right? Now you have to put the chase away. So this Dead Hard encouraged continuing the chase. Every other perk gave you a burst of movement speed that really discouraged chasing that survivor anymore. All right, the fun ones. And probably more hot takes since I am a killer main. Call of Brine need to be gutted. This was a thing that needed a while ago. My thought was that to nerf it a little bit, but was to make it so it couldn't stack with Overcharge or any other gen kick perk. They went the other way and they gutted it completely. So we reduced the additional regression speed to a max of 125. It was 200%. I think it'll still get used, but it was going to get gutted. This is why I've told people for a long time, if you've been relying on gen kick perks, it's going to get gutted. So if you've been relying on it and kicking every gen every time you saw it, and really setting up those 3 gens, you weren't doing yourself any favors because you might have been rewarding bad play. I know it seems a little weird, but efficiency-wise, a lot of people were getting away with this idea, and I've watched in a lot of coachings that I've done where they will stop chase to kick a gen because of how powerful Call of Brine and Overcharge were. It's not efficient. It's never been efficient. So you might have been teaching yourself some bad habits because of these 2 perks here. And I think that's going to become really noticeable as soon as this goes live. Overcharge. Oh, let's see. It goes to 130% after the 30 seconds. And then the penalty missing skill check was reduced to 4%. I don't think that part needed to be reduced. Hold on one second. Now, for Circle of Healing, this was one of the worst introductions of perks ever invited to the game. This was one of the worst perk ideas ever. I know a lot of people like the idea of Circle of Healing. You have to understand, this broke the game for a long time in terms of not only hit and run, but just efficiency in general. The point of healing was that it would work as a slowdown mechanic for the killer in a way, right? You have to take another person off the gen to heal you. This slows the game down naturally without gen regression. So the moment Circle of Healing kind of hit, this gave one survivor in the game 4 perks, right? Circle of Healing gives you a self-care that allows you to heal yourself. But it gave the rest of your teammates 5 perks because it gave them the ability to heal themselves as well. So essentially a buffed self-care. Or they could heal each other faster in there as well. So Circle of Healing, well, we knew it was eventually going to get hit again. I'm glad they completely gutted it, though. It was one of the most unhealthy perks to come into Dead by Daylight, in my opinion. And on launch, it was absolutely busted. But this will no longer allow survivors to heal without a med kit. Instead, it will provide a 40 to 45, 50% healing speed bonus to healing others. I'm okay with this. This is totally fine. You get your boon set up, 2 people meet up, it's a fast heal. Cool. It still takes 2 people. 100% agree with it. Killer updates. This is where some people are going to have the fun areas. We're all going to make fun of the hillbilly nerf, which means that they toned down Doom Engravings and Death Engravings add-ons. Here's what behavior needs to do, right? Quit fucking with Billy. Billy's like one of the poster childs of, DBD. Everyone loves Billy. No one complains about Billy when they go against Billy. Engravings are 100% fair. I've never had an issue with the Billy pulling off a curve on me. I think it's one of the more skillful things in Dead by Daylight. Don't do this. This is very bad. The upside is that they reduce the amount of heat generated while chainsaw sprinting. And they're trying to basically revert overheat mechanic without reverting it, because no one wants to say, hey, we fucked up. But they should just revert that completely. Pig got an add-on. We actually got a pig buff. I was pretty sure that we were gonna have a pig nerf again, but no pig nerf, just an add-on buff that was random. I feel like this is a lot of these changes going on from here, by the way, I don't think are really good changes. I think the perks were pretty good, but these small little add-on changes are good in the sense that behavior's at least changing something. So I don't want to bash it, right? Oni got a little bit of add-on. I'm not gonna go over all these add-ons. They're all pretty much little buffs and quality of life changes. All right. The next thing is bright light interactions. This was something interesting that I've never really thought was an issue in Dead by Daylight. Essentially, as the killer roster grew, these mechanics, they kind of fell out of place. So you used to be able, for example, break a trapper trap with a toolbox. So now they've removed pretty much all the flashlight things. So Wraith can no longer be burned out of his cloak. As someone who's known for his Wraith, this has never been a problem in my opinion. I think it's actually pretty good. Most Wraiths will avoid this. If you're a Wraith who's constantly getting burned out by like just one flashlight, getting hit with 2 flashlights, 100% agree, it can be brutal. But I don't necessarily view it as a negative. So I don't think that was necessarily good. But hey, I'll be happy not to have to worry about it, I guess. Nurse, this was bad. This should have stayed in the game. Nurse is one of the strongest killers in the game. If I have a flashlight and she takes that first blink and I am able to blind her so she can't get a second one, that's a skillful play, I feel like, all the way around. Also, it makes it more difficult for Nurse to get that second hit. She's already one of the most oppressive killers with a moderately low skill ceiling. So, yeah, hard to say. Artist, I was actually okay with this too. This encourages team play. Anything that encourages team play, I'm often all for. Survivors could shine a flashlight at crows to scare them away, whether it be the crow she placed or on a survivor themselves. So, again, really something good, because this means you had to notice it, go stop it. Again, team play is always rewarded. Hag, I could guess give and take with Hag. I think Hag can be pretty oppressive, but not in a bad way. I think she's kind of fine. The flashlights, I'm kind of like torn on this. I'm okay at it, but yeah. Let me read this all the way. Removing the flashlight effect from the Hag's power is a little trickier since it would leave survivors with little to no option. Yep, to ensure that this doesn't make the Hag too oppressive. Okay, this is where we're at. You're adding the ability to wipe away a phantasm trap. In order to do so, survivors will need to spot the trap, crouch over to it, avoid it, setting it off, and then perform several second-long action. I mean, it's not bad. It's not going to help more people play Hag. People just don't play Hag because I think, she's dated and people don't like the way she looks. I think some killers just don't get played because of their aesthetics. And I think that's kind of Hag. But sure, I'm sure that'll make Hag feel a little bit better. All right, and then there's some deep riff stuff. I'm not someone who really cares too much about the lore of the game, but, they added some more stuff for the riff. So my opinion on it is it's actually an overall good change for the game. I know there's a lot of things here that nerfs. It's kind of funny. I always said that if you're going to nerf something, hit both sides. That way both sides can be pissed at you. They did that, right? They hit both sides pretty hard here. I don't see a lot of negatives with this. I think it's going to help the game. The games are not going to be like, oh my god, for survivors, your games aren't going to go super slow anymore because the 3-gen kick meta for most killers is pretty dead. And at the same time, killers, no more complaining because a lot of the healing that is being done is also pretty much dead. So no more self-healing and no more crazy gen kicking meta. I'm all about it. I think overall it's a really solid bump to the game. I think right now a lot of people are seeing their favorite perks get hit and they're just crying to cry with no reason to back it up. As a killer, you're gonna see, oh no, my Call of Brine and my Overcharge and my 3rd or 4th slowdown perk were all hit. Oh man, what can I do? I don't know, man. Kill diff.